I'm Roman Yossi of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Dante Fabro of the Nashville Predators.
This is Philip Forsberg of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Colton Sissons of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Eustace Aros of the Nashville Predators.
You're listening to the Renegades of Puck
with Crazy Charlie.
Welcome to the bunker. Welcome to the Renegades of Puck podcast. I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier. And before we get started with No Half Step in hockey coverage, first, let me direct you to our home website, renegadesofpuck.com. Once you go to renegadesofpuck.com, you'll learn everything you need to know about the show. Once you're getting educated about the show, you click on that merchandise tab. It should take you straight to our classic logo t-shirt, our Pride logo t-shirt, all of our different special event t-shirts, and so much more. All the gimmicks you've come to know and love and expect from the Renegades of Puck are still available in our online store, whether that is socks, throw pillows, wall art, bed sets. Makes no difference to us. We've put our logo on something like 88 different items now in our online store. Best said, we've sold out so that you can buy in. Social media is of critical importance to this hockey operation, so here's how you can support the Renegades of Puck. Does not cost you a single thing, and it doesn't take you very much time at all to go to Instagram, to go to Facebook, or check us out maybe on Threads or on X or on TikTok. Any of those different social media platforms is where you can find the Renegades of Puck. Important one that we're looking to grow and continue building, and stick taps love and respect to everybody who has become a new subscriber to our YouTube channel. Just search Renegades of Puck and make sure you subscribe to the channel. Today, get the latest episodes of Renegades of Puck TV. Get our updated segments, our previews, our recaps, our interviews, all of those different things and more right there on our YouTube channel. Again, Renegades of Puck. It's very, very important. We're trying to build up that subscriber base right there so that we can start doing even more on our YouTube channel. You can find the audio podcast globally thanks to the Full Press NHL Network. The Full Press Predators podcast went from local to global in 2023 and has carried on that momentum into 2024, and we are sure excited and happy about what is to come. You can find the podcast on Google, Stitcher, Amazon, Spotify, all of those different platforms. Just check out Renegades of Puck, search Renegades of Puck on your preferred platform today. You'll find the show. Venmo, that's how you can support the Renegades of Puck financially with a donation. We are still efforting to build a heating and air conditioning system. Thankfully, the temperatures have normalized a little bit in our area so that we are now able to record the show in a much more comfortable way. But we know there is much worse weather coming, cold, hot, both of those extremes, and we're going to need to do something out here in the studio to protect the equipment and to maintain the health and well-being of the human that has to operate all of it. So if you can make a donation, please scan the QR code that's currently on your screen, or just search Renegades of Puck in Venmo today. Every dollar goes directly to this operation right here. Independence comes at a price, and we sure are appreciative of each and every one of you helping us out over the last couple of years, keeping things going in the right direction. Now, listen, this is easy enough. It's time for the No Half Step in hockey coverage, and I can't wait to deliver the goods. So it's time for Operation number 861. That's right, time for show number 861. And at this moment in hockey history, the Nashville Predators currently find themselves in a quickly tightening Central Division. Fourth place overall after 47 games, skated a record of 25, 21, and 151 points. And I mean this, things are tightening up. I'm going to update the whole Central Division here in a second, but let me give you the Preds scenario first. The Preds are 11 points out of third place, which is an automatic qualifying spot for the NHL playoffs. And we're in the second half of the season now, so we're going to have to start talking about that a lot more. And 13 points out of first place, and only 2 points ahead of the fifth place Arizona Coyotes. Nashville Predators' next game will take place on the road and will be in division against the Minnesota Wild. The Preds have a road record of 12-9-1. They've scored 144 goals this season. They've given up 146 against. That's a goal differential of -2. Now, for the Minnesota Wild, they have a record of 21-21-5, 47 points on home ice, a record of 12-9-3. They've scored 145 goals, and they've given up 160 against. That's a goal differential of -15. They're currently in 7th place. Now, Central Division. Let's update the entire division and give you the big picture. The Winnipeg Jets, Colorado Avalanche, and Dallas Stars are back to the three-team weave. The Winnipeg Jets got extremely hot. They ran away from things, but the Avs and the Stars have caught up to them now. The Winnipeg Jets are still currently in first place after 45 games skated with 64 points on the season. Colorado in second place with 63 points. Dallas Stars in third place with 62 points. So we have a one-game separation between first and third place in the Central Division. Then you'll find the Predators. There's the drop-off right here of 11 points to fourth place in the Central Division at 51 points. Arizona at 49. St. Louis at 48. Minnesota at 47. These four teams now are packed within 2 games. 4 points separating fourth place from seventh place, and the Preds in fourth are playing the seventh place Minnesota Wild. Next, the Chicago Blackhawks, the only team that have not entered the chat yet. That's because they're in last place with only 30 points on the season, and frankly, that's where they're going to remain for the rest of the season. They have a goal differential of minus 64, by the way. The Preds, once they wrap up this game in Minnesota, which is the first of 3 on a road trip, Saturday in Edmonton, note that special start time, Monday at Ottawa, and then back home to face off against the LA Kings to wrap up the month of January, and the Preds will have a 10-day break. After that, they will come back on February the 10th versus Arizona at home, and then February the 13th versus the New Jersey Devils. That's right, we're already talking about February of 2024. This is the second of 4 regular season meetings between the Preds and their Central Division rival, the Minnesota Wild. They met back on November the 30th at Bridgestone Arena. It was Minnesota scoring the lopsided victory, 6-1. UC Saros got pulled in this game, took the loss, going 11 out of 15 before Lankinen came in and gave up only 2 more goals. Parson scored the only goal for the Nashville Predators, but he will be unable to do that in this game as he has been sent back down to the Milwaukee Admirals for some more ice time and some more positive developments. Duar scored 3 goals for the Minnesota Wild in this game against the Nashville Predators. Kaprizov, Maroon, and Middleton scored the other goals, each with 1 in that game. Gustafsson got the start, went 26 out of 27, picked up the victory over UC Saros in that game. The Preds just simply looked awful on home ice against the Minnesota Wild. They will meet again on February the 29th. That's right, leap year, the 29th this year. Nashville will be in Minnesota or versus Minnesota at Bridgestone Arena. And then on the 10th of March, I was getting ahead of myself, the Preds will be in Minnesota to wrap up the regular season series. So again, on March 10th, the Preds and Minnesota Wild will be done for the regular season. Now let's take a look at the Minnesota Wild. I told you their record was 21-21-5, 47 points, less than 4 points behind the Preds. But let's take a look at how they've closed the gap as of late, winning 4 of their last 5. We always like to take a look at the sample size of the most recent 5, and it was on January the 15th. It was a 5-0 victory versus the New York Islanders. On the 18th of January, a 7-3 loss at the Tampa Bay Lightning, but then recovered nicely on this road trip, a 6-4 win at Florida and a 5-2 win at Carolina. And their most recent game was on January the 23rd. It was a 5-3 win versus the Washington Capitals. Gustafsson got the start, went 30 out of 33, and picked up the victory in that game. When it comes to the NHL rankings in this matchup, let's give you the numbers for both of these teams. We like to track 6 major statistical categories, and we like to start with goals for, where we find both of these teams are even at 3.02 goals per game. Right there, 18th and 19th overall in the league. In the goals against category, the Predators are in favor in this one. 3.11 against per game is 16th best in the league. The Minnesota Wild are giving up 3.36 goals per game. That's 25th overall in the NHL. When it comes to shots on goal, it is Minnesota getting 30 on net per game, which is 19th. The Preds 30.8, which is 16th. So again, very, very close in this metric. Very close in this metric as well. Shots against 30.3 for the Preds is 14th overall in the NHL. And shots against for Minnesota is 30.7. That drops them down to 21st overall in the NHL. And again, power play, you'll find very similar statistics between both of these teams. It is the Minnesota Wild with the better rated power play at 20.5% conversion rate, is 18th in league. 32 conversions on 156 opportunities. The Predators converting at an even 20% is 19th overall in the league, 1 spot behind Minnesota. 33 conversions on 165 power play opportunities. It is in the penalty kill where the Nashville Predators find themselves several spots above the Minnesota Wild. 77.5% is their kill rate. 24th overall is their ranking in the NHL, and 34 power play goals against is how many the Preds have given up on this season. Now, on the other side of the ledger, the Minnesota Wild's kill rate, 72.8%, is 31st, next to last in the NHL. And for a struggling Predators power play as of late, possibly the matchup that they are needing at this moment in time. So the 31st ranking in the NHL, but they've also given up 44 power play goals against on the season. That is an incredibly high number, 10 more than the Nashville Predators. When it comes to the individual statistics for both of these teams, why don't we start with the visiting Nashville Predators, and then we'll update you on Minnesota's stats after the Washington game just last night. Forsberg, 22 and 27 for 49 points for the Nashville Predators. He really needs to get off that number 22 goals. It looks impressive and all, but it's been kind of stagnant for some time, as well as the rest of the Nashville Predators offense. O'Reilly, 17 goals and 23 assists for 40 points. The captain, Roman Yossi's at 9 goals and 31 assists for 40 points. Nyquist, 12 and 24 for 36. Sissons, 12 goals, 12 assists, 24 points. Also, I'd like to start seeing some movement and some shakeup amongst the top 5 in scoring. We have had the same exact top 5 scoring, and the only real movement has been the captain, Roman Josi, catching up to O'Reilly at 40 points. But I'd really like to see some shifting and some movement and some momentum amongst the Nashville Predators offense. Now, when it comes to the Minnesota Wild, now they scored that 5-3 victory against the Washington Capitals, and 4 of their top 5 scorers added to their point total in that game. Kaprizov was the only one that did not. 18 goals, 24 assists, 42 points on the season. Eric Sinek now 20 goals and 18 assists for 38 points. Matt Zuccarello, 8 goals and 28 assists for 36 points. Matt Zuccarello, the world-class distribution service. Boldy's at 15 and 17 for 32, and Rossi, 13 and 15 for 28. Kaprizov, Eriksson, Zuccarello typically do very good against the Nashville Predators. Zuccarello, no matter where he's played in his career, has typically had good success against this Predators team. I put Gustafsson in the starting spot for the Minnesota Wild just because of his victory over the Nashville Predators back on November the 30th, and updated his standings based on his most recent victory versus the Washington Capitals. Now 13-11-2 on the season, an .896 save percentage and a 3.29 goals against average. UC Saros, 18-18-1, a .904 save percentage, a 2.94 goals against average. So UC Saros is now at exactly 500 on the season with a save percentage just barely over 9 and a goals against average just barely under 3. All right, that's going to get you all set up for the Nashville Predators' first game on this 3-game road trip in Minnesota. Second meeting out of 4 in the regular season. The Preds 0-1 against the team in 7th place, who's now only 4 points behind the Predators and looking to make a little bit of a leap based on how standings break in the next 24 hours. The Minnesota Wild could find themselves jumping over St. Louis and Arizona, both respectively, and climbing in the Central Division out of what is effectively the new cellar, because the Chicago Blackhawks have taken full ownership over 8th and final position in the Central Division ever since it went to 8 teams. So 7th place is basically the new cellar, and you don't want to find yourself in 7th place. That's going to get you all set up for that game. We got the Rebirth Sports full game recap, and that's coming up next right here on the Renegades of Puck podcast.
Hockey players are as unique as the game itself, and your uniform should be tailored to fit you. Rebirth Sports is your sports apparel tailor. From shells, bags, warm-ups, hats, hoodies, branding, and more, let Rebirth Sports be your custom hockey tailor.
And don't forget to tell them they do more than just hockey.
Rebirth Sports on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Rebirth Sport, a match made in hockey.
It's now time for the Rebirth Sports full game recap. We go all the way back to January 22nd of the year 2024, when the Nashville Predators were facing off against the Florida Panthers at Bridgestone Arena for the first of 2 regular season meetings. Head coach Andrew Brunette deploys his lines and defensive pairings in the following way: Forsberg, O'Reilly, and Nyquist; Sherwood, Novak, Evangelista; Trennan, Sissons, and Goryanov; Smith, McCarron, and Tomasino. So again, a healthy rotation of healthy scratches, and the second, third, and fourth line combinations as well. Josi and Fabro, Luzon and Carrier, McDonough and Shen make up your defensive pairing. So Barrier out of the lineup and Fabro back into the lineup. UC Saros gets to start on home ice in net. 10 seconds into this game, it's UC Saros coming with the first save of the game on Verhaeghe. It is, in fact, the first shot on goal of the game. 41 seconds of the first period. It's Stolarz coming with a save on Philip Forsberg. That's the first shot on goal for the Nashville Predators. At 1:45 of the first period, it's UC Saros coming with a save on Rodriguez. At 3:49, Saros a save on Kulikov. At 4:42, Saros continues doing the heavy lifting in the first period with a save on Lundell. At 5:44 of the first period, UC Saros again working hard with another save on Rodriguez. At the 7:43 mark of the first period, UC Saros coming with a save on Reinhart. And Florida is simply pushing the Nashville Predators all over the ice at this point in the game. At 9:29 of the first period, UC Saros coming up with a save on Saskevich. At 10:52, we see our first special teams moment of the game when Lucic is off the box. 2 minutes for slashing. The Nashville Predators are going to get the first power play of the game after not having much offense at all to this point, and they would not have much offense at all over the next 2 minutes. 0 shots on goal And frankly, not much zone time for setting up at all. Credit to the Florida Panthers for the penalty kill. 12:55 now of the first period. Stolarz coming up with a save on Goryanov at 14 minutes of the first period. UC Saros coming up with a save on Ekblad at 15:57 of the first period. UC Saros back to work again, this time a save on Ekman Larson. 16:14. Preds get another scoring chance. Finally, Stolarz comes up with a save on Philip Forsberg at 17:25, though. UC Saros immediately back to work. Saros comes with a save on Montour. It would be a long delayed penalty call on Yakov Trenin, almost a minute's worth of extra attacker time, but the Florida Panthers really weren't looking to seize the opportunity here, more like kill off the time and hold off the power play time until the second period. So the penalty call on Trenin would not happen until the 20-minute mark. It would be 2 minutes for hooking. We would hit the end of the first period. Florida just simply dominant in the first period, out shooting the Nashville Predators 14-4. UC Saros, the only reason the Nashville Predators find themselves in this game. The Florida Panthers start that full 2-minute power play on the fresh sheet in the second period, and they are going to work immediately, pouncing all over the Nashville Predators as UC Saros comes with a save on Tkachuk plus his rebound follow-up opportunity. That's just the first of many. Saros then comes up with a save on Reinhart. Then UC Saros comes with a save on Rodriguez, and one more save on Ekblad before the end of the power play for the Florida Panthers. A dominant power play, and a dominant power play for UC Saros, making all of those saves. At 4:04 of the second period, Stolarz coming with a save on Luke Evangelista's deflection. A great scoring opportunity. At this point, the Nashville Predators' best chance of the game. At 6:07 of the second period, it's Stolarz coming with a save on Forsberg at the 6:56 mark. Stolarz comes with a save on the captain Roman Josi at 8:24. Another save on Nyquist. And you can just assume that in between all of these plays, the Florida Panthers are just getting shots on goal against UC Saros. It just comes to a point where you simply just cannot tell every single shot on goal. The Florida Panthers is pounding all over the Nashville Predators in this one. So we are 8:24 into the second period. Now Stolarz comes with a save on Nyquist at the 11:15 mark of the second period. Now just past the halfway point of the game. It's Trenin off the box, 2 minutes for tripping on a flopping Montour. Reinhart immediately cashes in on that power play with his 34th goal of the season, giving the Florida Panthers a 1-0 lead. And how it unfolded was off the face-off of the power play to begin it. It was Reinhart stepping around Sissons at the face-off and then driving to the net with the puck and scoring his 34th of the season. The Florida Panthers break through first. 12:04 of the second period. Stolarz coming with a save on Forsberg. Close range here. Another great scoring opportunity for the Nashville Predators in this second period. With 12:16, it's Luzon breaking through for the Preds. His 5th goal of the season ties the game up at 1 apiece. It was a long shot with Sissons setting the screen after a face-off win. So go back to these last 2 goals. Colton Sissons loses the face-off, gets stepped around, and gives up the goal in the defensive zone. And then in the offensive zone, wins the face-off, and then goes to the net, sets the screen, and helps the Nashville Predators score this goal. Luzon credited with it his 5th goal of the season. The Preds on the board. Game tied at 1 apiece. 13:42 of the second period. UC Saros coming with a save on Lundell at 14:15 of the second period. UC Saros coming with a save on Luosterainen at the 14:58 mark. It's UC Saros coming with a save on Tkachuk at 16:01 of the second period. It's Stolarz coming with a save on Philip Forsberg at 18:10 of the second period. It's going to be Yakov Trenin off to the box again in this second period. 2 minutes for boarding. And this leads to Trenin versus Gatchevich fighting 5 minutes each. After the boarding penalty, Trenin had to respond for that, and they end up having a good scrap right there at Bridgestone Arena. While the Florida Panthers are on the power play, they're going to have their own power play negated when Verhaeghe takes a 2-minute penalty for cross-checking. That's going to lead to a 4-on-4 scenario. During the 4-on-4 scenario, Stolarz comes with a save on the captain, Roman Josi, and has to come out with another save on Nyquist. We hit the end of the second period, and the Florida Panthers are just piling up the shots on goal. 27 shots on goal for the game through 2 periods. The Nashville Predators are at 16 shots on goal all through 2 periods. Brief special teams exchange to start the beginning of the third period on the clean sheet. Nothing would happen right there. We hit the 1:11 mark of the third period, back to 5-on-5 action, and it's for Hagee picking up his 24th goal of the season, making it 2-1 in favor of the Florida Panthers. It was off of the rush. He cut to the middle of the ice, used the defense as a screen, and fired and beat UC Saros for Florida to take a 2-1 lead, again, 24th goal of the season for Hagee. The Predators are picking up a penalty at 4:12 of the third period. Too many men on the ice. UC Saros is going to have to go back to work. UC Saros comes to save on Ekblad. Then UC Saros comes to save on Lundell. And then Ekblad picks up a penalty, 2 minutes for tripping. That was right at the end of the Florida Panthers power play. So just a couple of seconds later, the Preds are on a power play. And Stars coming with a save on Nyquist. Backhand on the goal line. Nyquist just simply did not get enough of it. And this is, unfortunately for Nyquist, a couple of games in a row now where he's had great opportunities and unable to finish right there at the net. Give credit to the goaltender, but Nyquist truly failed to convert on this opportunity on the power play. At 10:42 of the third period, UC Stars coming with a save on Ekblad. At the 11:20 mark of the third period, it's Ekman Larson off the box. 2 minutes for tripping on Philip Forsberg. Philip Forsberg trying to get his team back into this game. Still Larson with a save on Novak. All alone in front, had all the time to make all of the moves, and the only move he did not make was putting the puck in the net. In this instant, all Tommy Novak didn't do was make a play. At the 14:09 mark of the third period, it's Stolarz coming with a save on Luzon, who was the offensive juggernaut of this game for the Nashville Predators. At 14:50 of the third period, it's Ekblad off the box. 2 minutes for interference on the captain, Roman Josi. The Florida Panthers doing everything they can to let the Nashville Predators back into this game, but the Nashville Predators are only going to be able to generate one good scoring chance over the course of this power play, and Stolarz coming with a save on Ryan O'Reilly at close range. Back to 5-on-5 hockey at the 17:11 mark of the third period. UC Saros coming up with a save on Tkachuk. We hit the empty net scenario at the 17:49 mark of the third period. At 18:21, we find Montour firing the puck 200 full feet for his second goal of the season. It's an empty net goal, of course. The Florida Panthers now lead 3-1. Here in the third period, Andrew elects to pull UC Saros one more time, try to get back in this game. And at 19:41 of the third period, you find Tkachuk scoring his 13th goal of the season, a second empty net goal for the Florida Panthers. That makes the score 4-1. That's going to be your final. The Florida Panthers outshoot the Nashville Predators 38-28, and what was effectively a 2-1 game with two empty netters looks like much more of a blowout. And to be honest with you, the score feels a lot more reflective of how the game itself went. The Nashville Predators were simply run out of their own rink in the first period, found some stability in the middle points of the second period, got themselves on the score sheet, unable, though, to convert and maintain what they were starting to build in the second period, and the power play simply another power outage in this game. UC Saros couldn't do it all by himself, but he sure as hell did try throughout the first period and beyond. The Nashville Predators dropped this one to the Florida Panthers, and they are in a struggle right now, trying to find some goals anywhere they can, but they're not finding them anywhere right now. That's going to do it for the Rear of the Sports full game recap, analysis, and more coming up next right here on the Renegades of Puck podcast.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm Tracy, owner-operator of Strong Style Fitness, and that's me and my training assistant, Rizzo. And we are here to bring you fitness that meets you where you are by offering circuit classes, bar-inspired classes, Tabata workouts, boot camps, guided stretching, and more, all taught by a certified personal trainer, me. To learn more, go to our website, strongstylefit.com. Subscribe on YouTube at Strong Style Fitness. Follow on social media at Strong Style Fit. But most importantly, let's get you moving. It doesn't matter if it's your first workout or you've been doing it for years. Strong Style Fitness has the workout that meets you on your journey and helps you along the path to a happier, healthier life. I understand where you've been, what you were going through, and where you were going, and I want to take you there. We'll see you on the mat. Mwah.
Welcome back in Renegades of Puck podcast. Let's get into it. Time for some full game analysis right here. UC Saros went 34 out of 36 in this game, gave up 2 goals against. And you know what? He did all he could to keep his team in this game. 14 out of 14 in the first period. And let's see. He went considerable length of time into this game. He was seemingly the only Nashville Predator that was competing in the first period and the beginnings of the second period. 5 saves on the power play to start the second period. So he was already up over 20 saves well before the middle point of the second period when the Florida Panthers finally broke through with Reinhardt's goal right there on the power play. So UC Saros, I felt, did all that he could in this game to keep his team in this game. It was not the performance we saw from him in the last couple of games. It was a stellar performance that the team in front of him completely wasted. In-game save percentage of .944. That is 40% higher than what he has accomplished for the regular season. Luzon picks up a goal in this game, also adds 7 hits. The 7 hits has become a regular thing for him. The goal, though, and the fact that Jeremy Luzon was the offensive dynamo of the Nashville Predators, that's something that's different and something that, frankly, should not be a normal thing for the Nashville Predators. But he had strong play, both ends of the ice. He played strong defensively, some good physical play, and then, of course, was buzzing around the offensive zone, picked up a goal, had another opportunity for a goal later on in this game. You don't expect Jeremy Luzon to be the top offensive guy in the entirety of the game, but that's where we were at with this particular game. Just did not go very well. It didn't click for the Preds in this one. Sissons does pick up the only assist in this game, only 1 assist added to the 1 goal that was scored. And I wanted to bring this point up because I made the note of lose a face-off, win a face-off, okay? So on the Florida Panthers' first goal, Colton Sissons loses the face-off. Reinhardt steps around him, gets the puck from behind him, goes straight to the net, and scores the goal. Just a matter of minutes later, in real time, Colton Sissons is in the offensive zone, taking a face-off. He wins that face-off, and it's thrown on net by Luzon while Sissons is setting the screen in front. So Colton Sissons loses a face-off and gives up a goal to the Preds, then wins a face-off and gets the Preds their only goal of the game. It is the center's dilemma. Sometimes it doesn't go exactly the way you want, but Colton Sissons did a good job right there in the offensive zone winning that face-off. Now, that's the end of the good things. I try to always pick out some good no matter what the score is, and then we talk about the rest of it, and we try to be as honest as we can without being too over the top on it. But it's the simplest question of all. Maybe it's 3 questions broken down into 1 question right here. But where is the secondary scoring? Where is the primary scoring? And where is, frankly, any scoring? The Nashville Predators, it's not the first time this season they've hit an offensive drought. When they were struggling mightily early in the season, it was exactly the same feeling, and it was exactly the same offensive mode. Now, listen, the Preds were being carried by the top line for quite some time of Forsberg, O'Reilly, and Nyquist, but now Forsberg, O'Reilly, and Nyquist are not scoring. Nyquist can't hit an empty net right now for his life, and Philip Forsberg has been in a drought for a while. O'Reilly's continued adding some points, but the first line has, for the most part, fizzled over the last 10 days, and the secondary scoring had disappeared long before that. So now there's no secondary scoring. There's no primary scoring. The power play doesn't seem to be able to score. They get 5 opportunities a game and can't seem to put the puck in the net. 1 out of 6 on the last game of the road trip. 0 for 5 in this game. That's not good. 1 for 11 on the power play in the last 2 games. Imagine the difference the world could have made in the standings and for the Nashville Predators and how you feel about them this morning if they had just been able to score to their season average on the power play, which is 20%. 1 out of 11 certainly ain't 20%. So the secondary scoring, the primary scoring, any scoring, it's completely dried up. And the Nashville Predators may need to consider just cutting all of the sticks in half, getting out a new box, and starting all over again. Now, this leads to another point that is rather frustrating. Andrew Brunette has brought this up several times. You've heard the captain, Roman Josi, talk about it. So you've heard O'Reilly, Nyquist. You've heard everybody on the Nashville Predators who's had camera time and interview time talk about the Predators wanting to play well and play better at Bridgestone Arena. Well, when is that going to start happening? 13-12 on the season at what used to be known as the impenetrable Fort Bridgestone? Frankly, not good enough. I know for a fact you have people getting out to some of their first games and they're seeing a loss like that at the home rink, and they're seeing underperformances over and over and over again at Bridgestone Arena. That is not good enough. Andrew Brunette has called the team out on one thing and one thing consistently so far this season, and that is their home performances. Something has got to change on home ice before your home crowd starts letting you know about it. I was kind of surprised last night at the end of the game we didn't hear a little bit more of that. But why can't they play well at home? They play better on the road. On the road, 12-9-1. At home, 13-12. You should win 2/3 of your home games, and you should break even on the road, and that's what gets you to the playoffs each and every year in the National Hockey League. But the Predators can't score. They can't win at home, and right now they're in a funk like they've only seen one time under Andrew Brunette. It was earlier this season. They're fully capable of breaking out of it. They showed they can, and they showed they can become one of the hottest teams in the NHL. But right now, they're back to that late October, early November funk, and I cannot wait. Just like the ice melting, I cannot wait for this funk to go away from the Middle Tennessee area and see the Predators get back to action. That all starts in Minnesota with the next game. It has to start in Minnesota. We'll talk more about that coming up here in just a moment. That's going to do it for the analysis because, frankly, there's nothing else to do but get really frustrated about the way the team is playing right now, especially at the home rink. Let's hear from our good friend Stripe Digital Solutions, and we'll be back with the good cold hard numbers known as the box score right after this on the Renegades of Puck podcast.
The digital environment can be quite intimidating, time-consuming, and cumbersome, especially with all those other areas that need attention at your business, and that's why Stripe Digital Solutions is here to help. I know because that's exactly what Stripe Digital Solutions did for me and the Renegades of Puck. From designing my home website and helping me create my merchandise to special event posters, brand building, and social media management. But it's not just that, it's so much more. Stripe Digital Solutions has helped me every step of the way. From startup to full-time operation, Stripe Digital Solutions has been there to assist and advise every single step of the journey. In today's fast-paced world, the path to success is having a strong digital partner, and nobody is better in the trenches than Brandy and Stripe Digital Solutions. Get the solution before it's even a problem with Stripe Digital Solutions.
All right, when it comes to the box score here on the Renegades of Puck podcast, there's not a lot to talk about because it was a fairly low-event game for the Nashville Predators end of things. Jeremy Lauzon scores the only goal for the Nashville Predators. Colton Sissons picks up the only assist, so 2 total points distributed for the Nashville Predators' entire roster in this game. When it comes to the shots on goal, it's a good thing we don't talk about plus-minus because there's so many minuses on the board, it's disgusting. 5 shots on goal paces the Preds by Philip Forsberg, but unable to break through, also a -3 in the game. 4 shots on goal for Nyquist, 3 shots for Cole Smith, 4 shots for Roman Josi. None of them able to break through in this game. When it comes to block shots, all of it on the defensive side of things. It was McDonough with 5 block shots in this game to lead the Nashville Predators. Fabro and Josi had 3 apiece. Nobody else with more than 2. As a matter of fact, the only players with 2 were Alex Carrier and Ryan O'Reilly. When it comes to the physical category, I already mentioned Lauzon had 7 hits in this game. That was far and away the leader in hits, as he typically is, as he continues to lead the entirety of the league. As a matter of fact, the Nashville Predators are the most physical team in the NHL. Not sure if you've paused and recognized that yet, but the Nashville Predators and Jeremy Lauzon are the most physical components of the National Hockey League at this point. Michael McCarron back in the lineup had 4 hits in this game. Cole Smith had 3 hits in this game. When it comes to time on ice leaders, only 2 of the forwards eclipsed the 20-minute mark, and it was, in fact, Ryan O'Reilly at 21:44 and Philip Forsberg at 21:36. On the defensive side of things, only 2 of the defensemen eclipsed the 20-minute mark. Roman Josi, of course, led the team in total minutes, as he typically does, 26:51 and 20:26 for Alex Carrier in this game. When it comes to the power play, listen, this is a source of frustration right now. 0 for 5 in this game, 1 for 6 in the last game, 1 for 11 in the last 2 games, and the players getting the most significant amount of power play time have completely dried up offensively. Philip Forsberg at 5:12 on the power play, 5:05 for Gus Nyquist, 4:21 for Philip Tomasino, 4:13 for Ryan O'Reilly, 5:45 for Roman Josi, 2:31 for Ryan McDonough, and nothing, not a single thing produced when it comes to this. The Nashville Predators, at least in the last game, were putting up tons of pressure on the power play. This game, seemingly unable to even get the puck in the offensive zone and get anything started. It was a true bummer and a real disappointment to see a team that has Philip Forsberg and Ryan O'Reilly and Nyquist and Josi out there and see them be unable to move the puck, generate offense, or frankly get more than 1 shot per power play, which it seems like is the Preds' max as of late. So the power play 0 for 5 in this game, just absolutely brutal. The penalty kill did go 3 for 4. They did give up 1, but ultimately this was a 1-goal game. You take away the 2 empty netters at the very end. This was a 2-1 game, so that power play goal against turns out to be really huge. The penalty killer still did an overall decent job in this game. The time on ice leaders for the penalty kill were Colton Sissons at 230 and Cole Smith at 247. And then on the defensive side of things, Ryan McDonough 225 and Dante Fabro 220 in shorthanded time on ice. UC Saros in net was not the problem in this game. I thought that he was stellar, especially the first half of the game when he was keeping the Nashville Predators in it single-handedly. 34 out of 36, 2 goals against. One of them come on the power play to one of the best goal scorers in the NHL. 5 power play saves, 3 shorthanded saves, 26 even strength saves, an in-game save percentage of 944, pacing well above his regular season average. UC Saros, unfortunately, after this one takes a loss, his numbers now down to 500 on the season when it comes to the record. Other numbers falling out of the box score. Face-off winning percentage back up 54.2%. Good to see that. We chronicled the Colton Sissons lose a draw, win a draw, and how both of those led to goals in this game. So the face-off is of critical importance, and winning it is better than losing it. Having the puck and starting to play with the puck is always a better option. 26 hits in this game is a really nice, respectable number. 18 block shots, not bad right there, but the forwards didn't contribute a whole lot when it comes to the block shots of things. 20 takeaways, 22 giveaways. That indicates to me those numbers are incredibly high. That's sloppy hockey is what that is. That means neither of the teams was playing particularly sharp for stretches of this game, but the Nashville Predators just struggled. The first half of the game was as if they weren't even on the ice, and the Florida Panthers seemed like they were playing in a league above what the Nashville Predators were. It was one of those situations where if it was rec league hockey, you would have had players on the Nashville Predators team screaming out that those were ringers and they should be playing in a higher league. But that's not what it was. It was the Florida Panthers, and they are definitely an NHL team, just like the Nashville Predators, not separated by all that much in the standings as far as overall points in the season. The Florida Panthers looked like another level team last night in that game against the Nashville Predators. That's going to do it for the good cold hard numbers as the box score. We're going to close this thing out by saying it's a must-win in Minnesota. Listen, we're still in the first 50 games of the season. We're still in the first 50 games under Andrew Brunette, under Barry Trotz, but something's got to kind of break right here. The Preds broke out of that early season funk and went on a tear, and everybody backed off and have allowed the Predators to kind of go about their business and let them be up and down Jekyll and Hyde and make their mistakes and earn their points and do the things they got to do. But now that we're approaching the 50-game mark, it's starting to tighten up a little bit. And for the Nashville Predators, losing games to teams that are directly in playoff competition with them for the wild card or for spots in the Central Division, that is going to make the situation more difficult. So Barry Trotz is already starting to talk a little bit more about what he may need to do. The roster has just hit a point of stagnation. The youth is not developing right now the way they were at the end of last season or, frankly, at the beginnings of this season. The top end, we're right back to the old system of it being a Jofa team with one line on top doing all the work. But right now, they have completely dried up. The special teams is not performing at a very high level. So right now, the Nashville Predators need to shake things up a little bit. Perhaps a rotation of young players back to Milwaukee and some new young players up. Stastny was doing just fine when he was up here on the blue line. It's time to move on from Tyson Barrie. Tyson Barrie requested a trade, was out of the lineup for some time, did not make an impact coming back in. You cannot keep Schenn and Barrie on this roster together and put them out there on the rink. You've got to go ahead and start making a couple of moves right here. The next 2 weeks or so leading up to the break that the Nashville Predators are going to take is going to be of critical importance for new GM Barry Trotz and head coach Andrew Brunette. They're going to have to break through the funk that they are currently in, and they're going to have to make things start working in a more positive direction. We know that they're capable of it. They have done it for large stretches of the season. They still have a winning record of 25-21-1. They're still currently sitting in a playoff spot. They have a winning record at home. They have a winning record on the road. Their goal differential is only -2 on the season. So the Predators have every capability to turn this funk around and get going in the right direction. Last time, it was about a 7-8 game stretch there before the Preds started really going the right direction. So we'll see if the Preds can get things fixed up. That's going to do it for this episode. Operation number 860 is in the books. It's a must-win in Minnesota. There's one more that was a must-win over the weekend, and I want to take you back one more time to the Gary Force Acura Ice Arena in Nolensville, Tennessee, as the Nashville Predators, or the Nashville Spartans, I do that sometimes on the Spartans broadcast too, and it really bums me out that I get the teams confused. But when you say Nashville and you're talking about hockey, I've been covering the Predators so long, sometimes it just kind of happens. So for the Nashville Spartans over the weekend, a chance to sweep the Cincinnati Cyclones, a chance to keep pace with the Metro Jets in the Great Lakes Division. Let's take you back to Saturday night, another frigid single-digit temperature night at the Gary Force Acura Ice Arena. USPHL Premier Division hockey, junior hockey at its finest here in the Nashville, Tennessee area. Let's take you back to Saturday night, Spartans versus Cyclones. Stick taps, love, and respect, my good Renegades. I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier.
I'm Charlie Saunier coming to you from the Gary Force Acura Ice Arena. Nashville Spartans versus Cincinnati Cyclones coming up in just a few minutes on the inside. On the outside, single-digit temperatures, going to be one of the coldest nights of the year, if not on record here in the Middle Tennessee area. What's at stake? The Spartans still chasing in the Great Lakes Division, 1 point behind the Metro Jets. Spartans currently have a record of 28-6-1, 57 points, has them 1 point behind the Jets. 232 goals scored on the season, 72 goals against. That's a goal differential of plus 160. Last night it was a 17-1 victory for the home team. Spartans out shooting Cincinnati 67-9. It was the power play going 5 for 5 for the Spartans, and it was the captain, Austin McCauley, with 7 assists in the game. It was also Ronan Keenan with 4 goals and assists for 5 points. Durrett had 5 points. Flynn had 5 points, and Kerriman had 4 points. Hurt got the win going 4 out of 4. I'm the voice of the Nashville Spartans, Charlie Saunier. Time to get inside, get warm, and watch some USPHL Premier Division hockey. Swords up. Prepare for glory. Hearts out to take the opening draw, wins the opening faceoff. Spartans control immediately here at the Gary Force Acura Ice Arena. Last night it took the Spartans just 35 seconds to get the lead in the game. They played from ahead from that moment forward. They'll drive to the net right here looking for their first scoring opportunity. First shot on goal is turned aside. Rebound cleared away by the defenders for Cincinnati. Puck is in the neutral zone. Spartans looking to bring it across the blue line into the offensive zone. That's going to be Indelicato passing it across, and Hart's tipping it into the net. Hart's on the backhand, redirects Indelicato's pass. 2-on-2 battle. The Spartans are going to come out of the corner, get the puck to the slot. DiCarlo fights that shot off. Big rebound controlled by the Spartans. Gino Indelicato is going to play it along the wall. The Spartans setting up the cycle now deep in the Cyclone zone. Another shot turned aside right there by the blocker of DiCarlo. Cincinnati cannot get control of the puck. There's an opportunity for the Spartans, and Indelicato finishes this one off. Second goal of the game for the Nashville Spartans goes to number 86 in red, white, and blue. 12:46 to go here in the first period. Spartans buzzing. Cincinnati still without a shot on goal, but they are doing battle deep in the Spartan zone. That's going to be the captain, Austin McCauley, carrying it out to the blue line, passing it off to Durrett. Durrett across the other blue line into the slot area, and that puck is into the net. Austin McCauley loses an edge, slides into the corner after scoring the goal. 3-0 in favor of the Spartans. A give and go off of the rush, and McCauley continues being on fire. McCauley sends it down to Keenan. Spartans now have it set up for the power play. 19 seconds to go on that power play. Looking for the shot, and it's going to be McCauley. That was more of a shot pass right there, but unable to get it through the bodies and complete it. Cincinnati has an opportunity right here for a shorthanded breakaway, and the Cincinnati Cyclones are shut down by Nikolai Dunn, who raises the glove and waves to the bench that's full of stick taps. The Spartans bench is highly That's going to be a power play goal, or just after the power play expires. That's going to be an even strength goal for the Nashville Spartans. Backhands across. Spartans back to McCauley. McCauley with some speed in the offensive zone. Looks to drive to the slot, and that's going to be a goal by Ronan Keenan. McCauley passes across the slot to a crashing Keenan, and Keenan uses that long wingspan to put the puck into the net. Cincinnati fires the puck the length of the ice after the puck was scored. 4:54 to go here in the first period. 6-0 in favor of the Nashville Spartans. Spartans keep the puck in, looking to set up a play to the slot area, and they'll get the goal. That's Mason Hart's chipping the puck into the net on the back post. Spartans take a 7-0 lead. Mason Hart's got the first goal, and he got the most recent goal. Number 85 for the Spartans off to the bench. And welcome back into the Gary Force Acura Ice Arena. We've just received an announcement here in-house that the Cincinnati Cyclones have forfeited the remainder of the game. And the final of tonight's game will be 7-0 in favor of the Nashville Spartans. Apologies for the abruptness of the end of this broadcast. We learned it just seconds before telling you. A disappointing finish to tonight's and this weekend's action here from a frigid Middle Tennessee. Apologies, fans, but that's going to do it for tonight's broadcast. 7-0 is your final. Cincinnati Cyclones forfeit after 20 minutes of action. And we'll do it. We'll go ahead and sign off right here and start to break down our equipment. You've been watching Nashville's premier junior team, the Nashville Spartans, right here on Flow Hockey. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you soon.